Is this the moment the ARMY has been waiting for, or is it the beginning of something unexpected? In a matter of days before BTS' big tour in the United States kicked off, Jungkook finally did something that left the entire fandom speechless. Not through a teaser, not through a regular post, but through an honest confession that feels so deep. As if there was a burden that he had kept for himself, and now he could no longer bear it. It all started with what seemed normal at first. The members spoke casually, smiling as usual. But there was something on Jungkook's face that was different. His gaze was heavier, his voice was quieter, and the pauses between his words made many people start to wonder. Then he said, the words that came out of his mouth were not just words ahead of the tour. That sounds like a heartbreak. Jungkook admitted that this tour is not just about the stage and cheers. There is a great pressure that he feels, there is a fear of disappointing, and there are emotional feelings that he has hidden for the sake of looking strong. The ARMY immediately caught on that this was not just concert preparation. This is Jungkook speaking as a human. And just as the atmosphere began to calm down, the camera captured an unexpected reaction. Taehyung, BTS's V, who is usually known to be calm and full of smiles, suddenly lowered his head. His eyes were red. His hands shook a little, as if trying to hold something that was already too full in his chest. And then, the tears fell. The V is not a normal V. It was a cry that made everyone feel claustrophobic. ARMY viewers immediately flooded the comments with the same question. What's really going on behind the scenes? Because if a taehyung breaks down in tears just because of Jungkook's words, it means that there is a huge emotion that we have never seen before. Some fans suspect it's not just about the tour. Some feel this is the moment when they realize how hard the journey has been. There are also those who believe that Jungkook and Taehyung are facing something more personal, deeper, more human than what is seen on camera. And that's precisely what makes this moment so jarring. BTS has always been strong. They always look ready. But that night, Jungkook opened up his fragile side, and V showed that even a star can collapse when a heart is already too full. The US tour is indeed about to begin. Cheers will reverberate. The stage lights will come back on. But after Jungkook's frank confession and V's unstoppable cries, the ARMY knows one thing. This tour is not just about music. It's about the heart, about the struggle, and about the emotions that finally can no longer be hidden. And what makes it all the more surprising, the moment did not stop only at tears. After V cried, the atmosphere became very quiet. Even the other members seemed to freeze for a moment, as if they weren't ready to see Taehyung that fragile. Jungkook himself looked surprised. His eyes glazed over, his lips quivering, as if he wanted to say more but was afraid that the next words would open a deeper wound. The ARMY begins to realize this is no ordinary emotional drama. There is such a strong bond between them, a bond that can only be understood by people who have walked together through the pressures, the glare of the world, and the weight of expectations over the years. Jungkook then tried to smile a little, but the smile did not fully reach his eyes. He was like someone who finally took off the mask of the strong magne that he had been wearing in public. He hinted that this tour would be one of the toughest trips, not because of the tight schedule, but because there are so many things he wants to prove and so many feelings that he has not yet had time to express. And that's where the ARMY starts to wonder. Has Jungkook been carrying it all by himself? Taehyung, who was still looking down, finally raised his face. Tears were still streaming down her cheeks. He didn't say much, but his expression explained everything. It's not just a sad cry. It's a cry of affection, of worry, and maybe also of fear of missing the moment together. Because a tour is not just a concert trip. The tour was a temporary farewell. The tour is a physical and mental test. And the tour is when they have to get back on their feet in front of the world, even though their hearts are fragile. ARMY watching this moment felt like seeing the most human side of BTS. There is no script. There is no filter. Only emotions just spill out. Some fans even wrote that this felt like a confession before a big storm. It's as if Jungkook wanted to make sure that before it all started, he wanted to be honest, wanted to say what he really felt. And the more people talk about it, the more it feels like this moment isn't just a spontaneous occurrence, it's something that's been on hold for a long time. ARMY began to recall how in recent weeks, Jungkook had been seen more often silent. The smile is still there, but there is an empty impression that is difficult to explain. It was as if he was thinking about something much heavier than just concert rehearsals. And now, just before the big US tour, he's finally opening that door a little bit. The door to the feeling that has been tightly locked. And taehyung, his crying was like proving that what Jungkook said wasn't just ordinary words. It was something that touched the deepest point, even for a normally strong V in front of the camera. Some fans believe that the crying was not just because of sadness, but because of pride and emotion. Because Jungkook finally dared to be honest. Imagine a Jungkook who has been known as the most persistent figure, the most perfectionist, finally admitted that he was afraid. He also felt depressed. He is also human. And maybe that's what made taehyung collapse. He knew the burden was real. There are also speculations that this tour brings different emotions because BTS is at a very sensitive phase in their career journey. Every step feels more meaningful. Each concert is not just a performance, but a symbol that they are still holding on, still together, still fighting. And when Jungkook speaks the truth, it's like he's saying, I want you to know, I'm doing this with all my heart, even though I'm tired. Such sentences do not need to be spoken directly to make the ARMY cry. The energy is already felt. On social media, many ARMY wrote that they were not ready to see BTS this open. Some claim to cry just by looking at Taehyung's red eyes. Some say that this moment made them realize how hard it is to be an idol at the top of the world. Because behind the stage lights, there are people who hold back fear. There are friends who can't bear to see their friends carry everything on their own. And there's ARMY who finally understands that BTS's love for them is not just a slogan, but something that really drains emotions and souls. Now, all eyes are on the US tour. Everyone is wondering, will Jungkook talk more on stage? Will Taehyung show his fragile side again? Will this tour be the most emotional moment in their history? Because after this incident, touring is no longer just about concerts. It's about a feeling that finally comes out to the surface. About Jungkook finally telling the truth. And about Taehyung crying as if the world stopped for a moment. And the ARMY can only wait. Will this be the most wonderful trip? Or precisely the most shocking revelations that have never happened before?